Can you believe it? Creepon June is over. It seems like it's only just begun and it's over. And this is my final flip through. Is it a flip through? It's not really a flip through because it's a folio. It's a show through, a pull out and put in through. But this is it. The front cover has changed during the month. I've added things to it. Because this is a folio, I had to do the cover first. If I was doing it again, well, yeah, I couldn't do it any other way. I had to do the cover first. But I ended up doing more days than I anticipated. So it's ended up a bit chunkier than I had anticipated. And I think it could do with a more focused, chunkier front piece. But it is what it is. And I like it. It's got its bone butterfly. We did some stenciling. We've got our heat embossed crow here. This was the freebie, one of the freebies from Tracie at the beginning, and it's got some grit paste stenciling on it. There's a bit of the crypt writing, and we've got this bit here, which was in these words came from the Spot the Difference. The great post-study is a tangle of forgotten relics, spilled ink and ghostly shadows. And I wanted to have this as the kind of, this is why this is tangled and spilled and ghostly shadows and stuff. And just kind of made all this, and then I attached it to the cover with a brad, and then the envelope slides on and the envelope stays on nice and easy. There's this bit of bandage behind here. There was a mummy behind here, but the mummy was increasingly annoying me, so covered that with a bit of fabric from one of the makes. This was a leftover bit of fabric from it, and we put this tree going into there. In the back of it, we've got our game of, I need to actually undo it first. I've put this cover on it. This is a glass dome. The flying raven inside it came from the envelope with the Beetlejuice lady on it, because I wanted a raven and I wanted that one that was flying, and I've stuck that down. I've attached a bit of leather, and I've just put a lobster claw on the other end. That was a bit of, I think actually it's faux leather. I don't think it's real leather because it's got a bit of a stretch to it. That was from, I think it was from an old bracelet actually. No, it's too long for a bracelet, I'm not sure. So in the back here we have the games of tic-tac-toe, noughts and crosses, that I played with Jodie Lewis. And in this envelope, the other pieces were there. That was the good witch, there was the bad witch, and that's where the other pieces are in there, with that card in that little glassine type, not glassine, yeah, envelope. This was one of the days, and I made the mistake of not putting that round the other way, and inside we have so that's the outside of the journal, which is quite easy, but when I go inside I'm a wee bit concerned I'm going to forget a pocket, so we'll see how we get on, shall we? There's some bits that I've done since you last saw me. First of all, there's this bit. This is the day 10 make, maybe. Don't think it's 12, I think it's 10. Anyway, it's either 10 or 12 make that I ended up not doing on the day, but I'd always intended doing this. So this is one of the postcards, and I've just backed that. We've got our flip up here with our writing space. This we flip up and we've got this fairy skeleton, and here's the Nevermore cipher decoder wheel hidden beneath here. So let's put that back down, and then that postcard kind of helps keep it all in place. This was my make from day 11, and it's just a little booklet, and then we ended up putting the key to the cipher in here as well as this wee, making a wee pocket on this tab. And then this envelope was quite early on, and I've sewn this in. This weave is bits sewn in as well, and in here we have a clue as to what it's C134, that tomb there that's been looking for in this cemetery, and this is her running to find the tomb, writing space on the back, and that was all stenciled inside there using the Nevermore ledger to hold that closed, and we've got the legend on there. Here, this is the other part of the freebie, and well, one of the other parts, another envelope of the freebie, and this has a little tag in here. There's also a little bit, oops, oh no, that's underneath it. See, I don't even, there's a bit here, this bit here, I keep thinking that's a tag there. That's not, that's part of my decoration, making it look like it was a tag. Then underneath here, this was the make for one of the days. I'm hoping you can't, that's, I've put my word searches there, but I don't want to give away if you haven't already done them, or maybe you're struggling to find a word. There was one word I struggled to find. This was my vampire back card with the embossing and the eyes, because that was the thing. I've now added this wee bat charm to it, the stars that never risen, but I see the bright eyes, and that was the bright eyes. And then in here, this is where, oh, now what does this mean? Oh, and this was being sent to Count Dracula, who was trying to now solve what the puzzle, what it all meant. But he doesn't have the key, because the key is elsewhere. The key is in Poe's book, in Poe's study. So that's why he's here in Poe's study, looking for the key so he can solve it. So let's put that back there. Now let's see if we can start to find the pockets, shall we? We'll start up the top here. This is a new one you haven't seen. There was a wee pocket there that needed filled. This is from the kit. This is another bit of this lace. This lace was a lot longer, and this was another bit of this lace. It just, I think, made a really nice trim for her, and I've heat embossed her roses. She is from Tracie, I think maybe 2 years ago now. Tracie had a Creepon Playing Cards, and each of the images are on either a light background and a dark background, and there's like, this is clubs, but there's diamonds, hearts, spades ones as well. And I had her sitting there, and I just thought, well, she's going to fit in that pocket, and I wanted to use that crow because that's a really nice crow that I hadn't used. And then that just sits in there nicely with that bit of lace sticking up. I'll link those Creepon Playing Cards below. Here's this one, and this one's wrapped up with a bit of hemp twine and my seashell skeleton rib. And we have some white paper on the back. We have our legend. I really like this effect with the legend, with the embossing going into each other. We had this fabric that I put the wrong way. These images were supposed to be on the fabric and they ended up on the wrong thing, but this was the Dance Macabre, calling the dead back. Put that back in that pocket. I'm trying to do this in a way that I'm not getting in your way and you can see where all the pockets are as well. Put that one back in that pocket. Let's just take that out a bit so I can have that tangling it out. And then we'll go behind it and get this one out. This is one of the ones more recent. And we had him a pondering. We've got the passage of time, the forgotten law. We changed this because I didn't like it. And then we've got this bit of, you can hardly see this tape. It's interesting, this is medical tape. It's interesting how the medical tape disappears more and more into the background. And actually, because of that, I've also lost the butterfly bit, but it's okay. I'll put that one back in there. Then if we move along here, we have this Podangle, which is just on a tab, which was already on the page. And in here we have this bit. And this was the Memoir Mort, Midnight Foreboding Shadows. And in here we have 3 images of people. And I made up these words from the words that went down the word search. And this is a memory of these 3 people. And this is the wee bit of card. I did this one at half size. And this one fits in this pocket here. And then we've got this little bit here, which is the, with her on the back, it is the which one was that? That's the one from round the corner here. So that's the bit of Poe from this one here, which is under here. And this one we've got some bits in here because this is space for writing. This is the love letter that has been sent to her. He has sent a picture of himself to remind her of him. And he sent meet me at 7. That came from the envelope project, leftover of that. I used another envelope project bit somewhere and I can't remember where it was now. And this is where meeting in the woods, because that's where they'd met before. And the wee rhyme was, my sorrow I could not awaken, my heart to joy at the same tune, and all I loved alone. So that was, he wanted her to come and meet him again. And so that's what that one's in there. And then this one in here actually has this wee envelope which I made out of the pocket. That was supposed to be a pocket out flat, but I folded it in half and made it into a little pocket for there. So let's put that one back in there. and this one back in here. There is a pocket here somewhere because I took it out, but where is the pocket? It's a pocket there, it's there. It's a bit further over. Oh no, it's not there. It's not there. That's that there. That's it. There it's there. There it's there. There you go. Okay, so that's, oh, the other thing I did, she didn't see me do, was there is another pocket here, but it is so tight now that there's things in these pockets that I couldn't safely put something in it. I tried to go in it just to see how big it was, and I tore it, so I used a bit of Tracie's, she's got this kit out for Faux Mica and tape. You have to print this out in a sheet and then you cut it into strips. I've done it on sticky tape, sticky paper, so that I can just use it like tape, but I used it to kind of stick that tear back down, and then another of these cards I just tore along the top of it and just slipped it in there just to kind of give a wee bit of interest. But that pocket can't be used as a pocket because I just can't get in it safely. I should have thought about that when I was doing it, but you know, that's the way these things work. Let's see if I can find these pockets here. Let's start at the top again, shall we? We have this one here, which was my layered tags. We have this chamber, just like that. See, I'm so confused. Apparently chamber is just attached there. I just stuck that on there, which is pretty cool, but I thought it was a... See, I'm not convinced myself. I'm having to convince myself that these things are stuck on there. I thought there was another one in... Oh, it's because that flap's on the top there. Right, so let's start going down the side. We've got, this is one of my wee favourite ones, with this wee raven tag in here. This was a recent one. Put that one in there, and then behind that we have a big pocket with... These all feel as if they're recent. I keep saying it was a recent one, but of course they can't all be recent. This one seems to... Oh, it's because it's got this... Oh dear. You even forgot what you did, Kirsten. I use this as a clip to hold this one shut, and also so I could pull it out there. And this was with things beneath the rustling silken purple curtains, the rustling purple curtains, which is a rustling, to me they say silk. Sorry, my phone's pinging. Put that in there, and then the pocket behind here has two in. It's got this one and yesterday's. So this one first. This is Twilight Whisper, and it's all tied together with a wee batten bead. And this is the last bit of the freebie that I used as a wee flip out to house that. And then there's some more writing space on the inside here. And put this one back in here. I'll another wee dangly to hang out. This was yesterday's and it hasn't been squashed yet. I'm guessing that over time it probably will get squashed in that pocket, but I still love this all peeling effect we've got here and sticking down the tape just to make it more, what's the word I want, you know, like it's trying to stick some of the wallpaper down. And then we've got this tag which I love as well. And more of the faux washi tape and this little mask because the wee, oh, and I did these wee faux corners on here as well. Love this one of my favourites. And then we have another one here that you haven't seen that I made because there was a pocket there, just a little writing card. This was a bit of the paper that I had misprinted and I just backed it on there, but then I just put a thin layer of gesso over it just to calm it down a bit so it could be written on. And this is the other part of this page here, which comes from the kit that's been linked down for the whole thing. Then I just embossed the red bit of this heart and stuck that down on here, and we've got a little bone charm hanging off here. Well, we need to find this pocket again, don't we? There's a pocket there. Just leave that sticking out a wee bit. So that's, I've gone through, I think I've done, that's everything. That's everything. That was from the Dragons and Vampires, was it? Drafts game, checkers you call it, across the pond. And I just put a different kind of one. This is a very sticky out one. This is a flatter one. Flatter acrylic dot on here. If there's anything you can see that I've missed, please let me know. But I think that's everything. So let's shut it up, because the final thing I want to do is, apart from thanking you for watching this video, for joining me on this Creepon June journey. Thank you for if you've subscribed to my channel. I hope you'll stick around now Creepon June's finished. Thank you if Creepon June's not your thing and you've still stuck around through it. I know some of my regulars haven't been watching the Creepon June stuff, which is, that's fine, because if that's not their bag, you know, we all like different things. The whole point of doing this folio was to make it look as if it was packed full of goodies, and it is packed full of goodies, but if you remember things like this, when I was making it to start with, I made this gusseted pockets with these bits coming out, and these now look even more realistic. Now they've actually got bits in. We have a real jam-packed, I'm loving the look that I've ended up getting with this, and all the things that are holding, you know, hanging out and stuff. I can imagine Poe sitting there and thinking, oh, I saw that vampire, where's that stuff I've written about vampires, where's the, you know, I love it. Thank you, Tracie, for such a lovely kit. Thank you for inviting me to be part of the collaboration. Thank you for watching. I don't know if I can... thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for your wonderful comments during this month. But for now, we're moving on to something different for July. I'll probably do Junk Journal July. So that's where I might see you next. Bye for now. Keep crafting. was your favourite make out of here? I'm curious. I'm curious, what was your favourite make out of all the makes I've done here? I've mentioned a couple that were my favourite. Were they your favourites? Were other ones your favourites? Did you make a folio yourself? That's it.
Like custom style pieces to celebrate.
Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. Since 2019, I have hosted 2 month-long junk journal challenges, Junk Journal January and Junk Journal July. 31 daily prompts with one simple idea. Just show up each day and create in your art journal. Each day presented a single word or phrase that acted as a kickstarter for making a page, and it was designed as a way to beat that fear of the blank page and overcome the struggle of thinking, I don't know what to make today. Every prompt was an idea to respond to, a material to pick up, or a layout to use, a path to follow. In this video, I wanted to share why I have decided to step back from the junk journal challenges and share 3 things that I have learned whilst doing these daily challenges, and I'll also share what's coming next. So the first thing I learned, creating every day is hard. Daily prompts were the push I needed, I think, to keep creating, even if it was outside of my comfort zone, especially if it was outside of my comfort zone. While I've never been able to complete the coveted 100-day project, a month seemed just about manageable, and to do this I gave myself some guidelines to make following the prompts a little bit easier. So I would use a box or a basket for my main supplies that I wanted to use each day. This helped to reduce decision fatigue. The junk mail envelopes and the assorted papers were ready to go when I showed up to my journal page. Sometimes I would set a timer to keep myself accountable and to not get distracted. This could mean just 10 minutes, or it could mean an episode of Vanderpump Rules. I tried to not be afraid of new techniques or layouts. After all, there was always another page tomorrow. And lastly, no buying new supplies. Junk journaling is really all about using what we have anyway, and I didn't want that pressure of needing to have the perfect supplies in order to start. The second thing I learned is that repetition is necessary, but limits are not. Showing up again and again and again each day for the prompts allowed me to lean into one of my favourite ways to work, which is a no-sew junk journal. I make them from paper scraps, patchworking them into pages of a concertina journal, all held together by my trusty Pritt Stick glue stick. They lie flat across my desk, and I can paste in bits from my days and anything related to the prompts. Being able to work across multiple pages like this gave me so much flexibility and freedom to create, rather than being confined to just one spread. Working with limited supplies or colours, of course, has its own merits, but when it came to the journal itself, I discovered that filling these accordion-style journals filled me with joy, and I've absolutely loved using them. So Now when I don't know what journal I want to make next, I find myself returning to the no-so journal. And the third thing I learned is that you will make bad art and that is okay. Creating a new journal page every single day for an entire month means the flops are pretty much guaranteed. I learned to embrace them and use them as tools. So this page here, I absolutely hated the left-hand side of it when I made it. The vision in my head was a crisp contrast with the stenciled pattern, and I think I'd built that up so much in my head that the reality was not what I expected, because the result was just a blobby mess on the page. And so by doing these prompts, I tried to dig deeper into why I thought the page was bad or ugly or just wrong. Was it the type of paint that I used and how I applied it? Was I feeling resistance to the contrast against the neutral tones that I already had on the page? What would I do differently next time? Asking myself these questions in this way has led me to see my prompt journals as much more of reference books almost for my creative practice. So they're filled with the failed experiments and the